I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Trish?
No.
Here.
Mr. Kramer?
Never.
Mr. Medini?
Here.
Mr. Morales?
Here.
Mrs. Feigelbaum?
Do I have a motion to excuse?
Motion to
Ricky.
excuse Ricky. Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Medini?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mrs. Bruce?
Yes. Move on to the approval of the agenda. Before I ask for the approval, I am taking off the closed session at the bottom of the agenda.
No, Ricky.
We're going to come back to that. So do I have a motion with that change?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented minus the closed session.
Mr. Medini?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mrs. Bruce?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on any item of, oh, I forgot the manifest and the minutes.
And the minutes.
I really want to get out of here. Budget, approval of the minutes of the budget workshop of May 5th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the budget workshop of May 5th, 2025.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mrs. Bruce?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Medini?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of May 5th, 2025.
Support.
Mrs. Bruce?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Medini?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Do I have a motion on closed session of May 5th, 2025?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of closed session on May 5th, 2025.
Support.
I think those are actually,
No.
we don't have those completed yet. I have to sit with Trish to get those finished up. We have an incomplete copy of that, so.
Oh, TBD. I withdraw my motion.
I withdraw my support.
Next time. Approval of manifest 2025-10 in the amount of $595,838.55. Brett, did you have any questions? I do not. Jeff?
None, Madam Mayor.
Rico?
No questions.
I have none either. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve manifest 2025-10 in the amount of $595,838.55.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Medini?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mrs. Bruce?
Yes. Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on any item of interest shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes.
Do we have any, Cancer, do we have any previous manifest questions?
No, I had the one on the chainsaw and.
We're
it
good to go?
was-
I got you.
Yeah, he got back to me, but it was getting replaced because they're gonna go with electric ones instead of the others.
Nada.
Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on any agenda item only shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. We have none. We're going to move on to action items. Item number 1, recycling RFP. Mr. Stoltman.
So if you guys recall, few meetings ago, we released a recycling RFP with the city of Kingsford for recycling services in response to the state's mandate to have curbside recycling as an option by 26. We released that RFP. The issue we ran into, which I wasn't surprised, is the way we released it was in an effort to not make it mandatory, which forced us to put in columns of potential number of customers. And the feedback we got was, 3 columns, 1 to 1,000, 1,000, 2,000. It's too broad to possibly come up with a rate. So instead, just in trying to get an idea of what this would cost, we were requesting to release the RFP with a set number of customers between the 2 municipalities, as in making it a mandatory service to get an idea of price. So it's the same RFP with that change. Instead of columns, it's we have X number of customers that would be receiving recycling services. So this will at least allow us to know what potential contracting hour, what that would be.
I kind of figured that was gonna
Yeah,
happen.
I did too.
Do I have a motion?
I would like to recommend that the council approve the re-release of the joint RFP with the city of Kingsford for curbside recycling.
Mr. Magee?
Yes.
Mr. Malloy?
Yes.
Mrs. Booth?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Move on to item number 2, copy machine. And I see we have some more paperwork here for the
Yeah,
copy
so
machine.
we've been, I've been trying to hold this off as long as possible. We need a replacement of our copy machine at City Hall. It's coming up on about 8 years old. We've had several issues. It's been repaired for free, but it's being repaired with used parts because those parts are no longer available for that model. So we've been reaching out to 3 companies within the county that deal in copy machines. The original memo I put out, I was still getting information back from Orbit. I finally did get that, so to the best of our ability, I tried to give this an apples-to-apples comparison between the 3 companies, which is Cooper, OPG, and Orbit, and they all deal with different manufacturers. Again, the copy machine is the price, and then really where I was trying to get the correct comparables, and the copy machines, again, is trying to make them as equal as possible as far as functions and things like that. And then we have our maintenance contract, and again, trying to pair that as closely as possible. And they're all very, very similar as far as number of copies. They all include the toner, parts, labor, loaner machine, and all of that. So what you'll see is the cost of the machine and the quarterly maintenance contract, which includes the items below. The number of copies was based on what OPG has for our average. Now, some of them, like Cooper, the cost per copy and the cost per copy overage is the same, where OPG, the overage is a little bit more than the maintenance.
And Canon doesn't have the that does not include the toner in their bid.
Yes, it does.
Oh, it does now?
Yes. Yep, they all
The
do.
white color tone, yeah.
Okay.
All 3 do in fact include black, white, and color toner.
Okay.
And like I said in my memo, we've had no issues with OPG. Now, we have a Sharp machine. OPG, my understanding, that was actually not through OPG. OPG bought the company that we contracted with because of Sharp. So now they don't do Sharp, they do Canon. We've had no issue with working with them at all. We also, I should note, the DDA has offered up $3,000 to support this purchase. As you can see, the copy machines are anywhere from $7,500 to $15,000 depending on the company.
I can speak pretty well to the costs, I don't know, but the service of Cooper. Cooper is who we contract with through school, and I believe all the area schools. Our machines can take a beating, especially when kids are in there, trying to help, or principals trying to help. But they're there pretty timely if something does go wrong.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, and I've heard that from others. Again, if all things are equal, simply based on cost, Cooper would be the recommendation. I don't have experience with Konica, Minolta, Canon. I do have experience with Ricoh, but that's our highest amount. So Cooper does seem to be the best bang for the buck on this. There is leasing. That got a little more complicated, but with the $3,000 from the DDA, I kind of felt that, especially with the price of Cooper, that
Well, if we can get 8 years out of it again,
it's kind of,
at a $8,000 price tag, that's pretty impressive. I understand there's the quarterly maintenance contract.
Is that about what we're paying quarterly now?
yeah. And now the current contract with OPG does not include toner, the new one would. So that's a new benefit for us with OPG, but right now they all pretty much offer the same thing in that contract. You know, the service, the parts, the loaner machine, if something goes wrong.
Oh, yeah, that was the old one that I seen. It
Yeah,
didn't
and that
include
was,
the toner.
yeah, I didn't, I looked at it closer, what they said is the current one does not, and the new one would, and I
Okay.
misread that. So, not an expense I was wanting to do, I've been, again, pushing this off and off. There's some things that are happening to this one that they said is not worth even trying to fix. We have to have one tray ajar just so it will print the other tray. It is a critical component to what we do, unfortunately, with the amount of printing. I was surprised to see how many copies we average quarterly. But it is a necessary evil.
Do I have any more questions? Anybody? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend purchasing the Konica Minolta copy machine from Cooper
At the price?
at the price of $7,556.92, along with the quarterly maintenance contract of $457,
Not to exceed.
not to exceed.
Thank you.
Mr. Morano?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Grant? Mr. Mendes?
Yes.
Move on to mayor council comments.
Norway
We have
Diamonds.
the new one. We have the diamonds.
Oh, sorry. Well, I got 3 different things going here.
I've been trying to skip over Adams for years.
I'm gonna go over to the other seat so I can run that.
All right, sorry about that, Tony. Item number 3, Norway Diamonds 2024 year-end report, Tony Adams.
I apologize, it's a little dated. It was done in December, but we weren't able to come up with a common date, so I'll update where I can, where things have changed. Dan, if you wanna. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Sure you're set.
So, yeah, that's what so
When I pointed-
everybody here is pretty familiar with our group by now, I think, right? So what we are, what we do. I'll update you on some recent, current, future things as we go through the slideshow. So we are a nonprofit, we're 501c3. We view ourselves as caretakers, we're not owners of the field. We work with the city, the school, Little League, American Legion, which now has a new name, MDR, and then of course travel teams. So those are all the different groups that are represented out at Marion Park. Official groups, yep. So I'm still president, Scott Sternhagen is vice president, Brett By, treasurer, Brandon Baldwin, secretary. Brandon has taken over concessions to Ty Halvis, voluntarily left. Over the winter, he's a little busy, and Amanda Meneghini, we added to our advertising. We brought her up as a voting board member. So we're a small army of people, and there's a lot of names that are not listed up there that you will see out working out at Marion Park. So we try to maintain it. We try to make improvements where we can. So we supplement, we supplant funds where needed. We do try for grants, and we do receive donations. So as you'll see, I'll talk about some donations that we received last year and some this year. So we work with the City of Norway, Parks and Rec Committee, and then of course through our contract that was established a couple years ago now. Are we on our 3rd year? I believe.
think so, yeah.
With our contract. So we support Norway area baseball, softball, anything that's, anything on any level, Little League, high school, again, like I said, American Legion, and then we have worked with individual groups. Like last fall, we had a situation where somebody wanted to run a tournament for their own fundraising. We worked through with the city, and I believe that went pretty well. There weren't any issues. So recent projects, late last summer, early fall, all the fields were top dressed. John Beck believes that's the first time it's ever been done out there. That's not good. For the most part, it has improved play. We do have some issues, but we'll work through that this summer. So that was a big step for us. Mike Molly Field, of course, we started the dugouts about 20 months ago. They are completed with the exception of a garage door on the storage, on the dugout that you can see there, and electrical in the first base, or the third base dugout. Everything else is now finished. We did add an infield warning track late last summer on Mike Molly Field. This summer, we plan on extending that through the whole field. Field conditioner was added as well. We're waiting on the top field. You probably, if you've been out there, you've seen pallets on the right field fence. We've got some issues on the top field, so that's why the amendment is not there. And then in a previous picture, we started refortifying the batter's boxes so that there's more stability there too. So a couple of our projects. Over the winter, we ordered some signage, some naming signage. So the middle field is technically bracket field, but it's never actually had on the scoreboard the name of the field. So we went through the scoreboard company. We did order the top panel. This is all for the middle field here, these two pictures. And then we wanted to acknowledge some of our accomplishments through Little League. So we do have 3 state runners up in the history of our Little League. So those panels are ready to go, but we asked the city, because of the middle field with the scoreboard and the terrain, we don't really have the equipment, a boom truck to get up there. So when the city is able, you will see those signs on the middle field. Yeah, and it won't take them long because we did, as I'll show you the next one. This is the sign that we also put up on Mike Molly Field. That one we could do ourselves. It was a lot easier to get to. It didn't take very long. So, storage door, as I said, the belting in the visitors dugout is done. We did that on a Sunday. We have finished the fencing project along the backstop in the dugouts on Mike Molly Field. We also added fencing on a bullpen. Mr. Kramer knows, he sees it every day or every other day. So that was to protect some of the vehicles over there. And then, as I said, the electricity eventually in the home dugout. On the top field, we're waiting on the field conditioner because we have a drainage. We have a drainage issue on the top field, and that's going to require, there's a few ideas out there, but it's going to require some time and some labor, so probably have to wait until the fields aren't being used every night to get that solved. So,
Before you move on, Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Councilman Kramer, you see all the space next to that 2024?
well,
I
what,
think that was an intentional choice. There's a lot of room for more.
Well, at I think like $3,800, we were like, do we just put 1 year on it, or do we encourage potential?
All right.
Let's do it again. So
Lots of room.
right, so that's up there. It looks great. And then, of course, when I created the presentation, right, we were going to have spring launch, which is we're now past spring launch. So. Future projects, as I said, the warning tracks. We've been in contact with Marcus Bablani. So we have a plan for the big field. We're also going to redo the warning track on the middle field. It's a heavier rock. So we're going to pull that out of there. We're going to repurpose that rock around the new dugouts for water, for drainage. And then we're going to use the same material that we used on Mike Molly Field. It's a little softer, thinner material. A wish list, future project, new press box on Mike Molly Field. That is up. See what happens in 5 months. So we received a donation over the winter specifically for that project. We were able to line up a host of people to help us with it, and I'll have more details for the 2025 presentation. But that building is up. It is not completed yet. The wiring is close, the windows are in, 2 doors are in, We are waiting for scaffolding so we can paint it, put the windows in, and then of course the top will be finished off as well, and then we'll redo the inside. But that was a huge project to accomplish because that building was, the old press box was
That was
literally-
old.
It was tipping, and it was scary, so. Our goal still remains to somehow come up with a way for a second concession stand. That's been tabled with the donation for the press box. And new windows for the press box on the top, the current concession stand that services the two fields. Those new windows are in. Those were put in this spring. So that's both sides, softball field, baseball field have brand new windows. There weren't windows there before. It was just a board that you hung on a chain. So it's all enclosed. That's done. So that was a good project to get done. We're going to continue to work on fencing because we have issues there from back in the day when everybody took batting practice off of the fences. So we're going to continue to work on that as we go. Mound repair, bracket, the middle field was fixed and repaired. We'll see how long it lasts. That's a never-ending issue. And then our group has a wish of someday potentially adding lights to a softball. Whichever one that ends up being, I don't know. But they would like to see lights someday. So in terms of our financials for 2024, we began last year with a balance of $39,312. In December of 2024, we were at $35,417. That included earmarked money that we had already planned to spend for this coming year. So we're in good shape. Total revenue last year was $51,678. If you remove the donations, it was $40,678. So we had a really, really good year. Overall increase in total revenue, and the biggest jump is going to be in the advertising. If you ride out to Marion Park, you can't help but see it. So that's been a huge uptick. Amanda Meneghini just texted our group. We had a goal of 100. She's at 98.
That's awesome.
She lost a couple, and she's all upset. I said, you can't control it. So relax, we're doing well. In terms of our breakdown for revenue, 45% came from our concessions. That's down 15%. Not that the concession stand was down, it was actually up, but the advertising has grown so significantly that it's up 15%. And then, of course, donations are not included in those percentages. So people want to be out at Marion Park. People want to advertise out there. And it's enabling our group to take on some much bigger projects than we did in the past. And I've had several schools that we play in our conference. It rotates, so we don't see them at our field every year. So it's been 2 years since they've been to Marion Park, and they're like, oh my gosh, look at what is going on. So we have some money now to tackle some.
And I think the
projects.
businesses just want to support the kids, the field.
Right. Yeah,
It's
so
awesome.
it's growing. It's she has plenty of fence left, so she's going to attack that. Total expenditures were $55,572. That's an increase of over $18,000 from 2023. So we're in good shape financially, and I feel really good. Like I said, when people come out there and they're like, "Holy cow, look at what's happening here," right? Because you can see it; it's tangible. And the park has come a long way, and it has a long way to go in other regards. So concession stands in terms of expenditures is about 22% of our total expenditures. Field maintenance is 68% last year. Advertising was 10%, because we do have some costs for the signs the first time through. So that number will fluctuate. And we did last year spend $290. We bought one catcher's gear set. One team needed a set of catcher's gear. That was $290. Revenue for the future, this year, concessions, of course. I don't know where that's gonna end up because we've had some overflow, so we've had some teams playing in Loretto. We don't capture money from those games to our group. We do have, to my knowledge, as of now, we do not have any Little League districts. Not pointing the finger, but somewhere the ball was dropped, so we're not looking at hosting any of those. Those are usually pretty good money makers for our concession stand. Advertising, as I said, that number changed, we're at 98. And then, of course, we were looking into some sort of raffle. We ran into some headaches with that in terms of paperwork, so we're working on that maybe for next year. Donations, we received over the winter, we received a $25,000 donation for the press box. So that kind of moved that up to the front of the line, and there may be more donations coming. I'm not sure. So we'll play that by ear and then prioritize what we need to do. Of course, concessions is always an expenditure. Field maintenance, equipment. The three-wheeler blew out, I think it was April. The front tire, which we found out was original, was over 20 years old, the tires. So we had to go find tires for a 20-year-old three-wheeler, which Cuba did. So you never know what's going to happen there, but we're always trying to update, expand. And then, of course, the field maintenance doesn't end. So we'll be talking to Bex again soon about some more field projects so the fields play better. And then at the time of this was still kind of in theory, but we were able to organize a group in the Upper Peninsula of 6 coaches. So it's myself, coach from Escanaba, Gladstone, Jeffers, Newberry, and Rudyard, and we formed a group called the Cold Weather Baseball Coaches Alliance, and our goal was twofold. The UP needs to get better at baseball, so we wanted to create a coaching clinic because most of the teams downstate, it's an hour or 2 ride, they're at a college and they're getting all this information. So we actually hosted one in Gladstone in March. We had some awesome presenters. It wasn't as well attended as I hoped, but it was the first one, so I think it'll grow. I talked with Mr. Carlson before we did this. This year, the Norway Diamonds is the fiscal agent for this group, so we're handling the money in, money out. And then our goal was to have an all-star game, and that's not an if anymore. So the first ever high school baseball all-star game will take place at Mike Molly Field on Monday, June 23rd in Norway. We have 29 graduated seniors, 14 different schools represented. So we're gonna have a big ceremony. We're gonna honor some of our local people that have been a big part of baseball, and we're crossing our fingers that that grows as well. So I think it's really cool that it's here. That was one of my goals in the group was, hey, Norway wants it, so we have it. So that's happening. I know it's a little dated, but you get an idea of what last year was like. Things are going well for our group. From what I can see and what I hear, things are going well out at Marion Park in terms of you can see the maintenance, you can see the improvements. I know we're in the middle of another project with the trees up at the top field, but once that's squared away, we have a plan to kind of dress that up and then potentially move a batting cage to that area because that field doesn't have one. So that would be a nice upgrade as well. So if your group or any groups have any suggestions for us, we're always open to hear them and listen and talk it over. And if we can do it, if it's possible, if it makes sense, we're in.
I already think I went out there beforehand, looking at the trees and whatever, and then, we decided to go ahead with that. It already looks better. Most of them trees were dead out there.
Dan called me, I think you called me one day, and you said, is there anybody that wants those trees there? And I said, I've never met them if there is. because-
But you never know.
Right, it was just a mess, so.
Oh, trust me, they come out of the woodwork, no pun intended.
Well, I'm sure.
We're cutting them trees. I'm saying,
Yeah,
But if
I knew
you're
it would.
working out there, playing out there, right, it's gonna be so much better. We're gonna replant. I mean, there's a plan to put some trees.
And how many cars during the years backing up, older people, younger people too, hitting them trees backing up and,
Well, there'll be some trees there yet, eventually. But, no, I think it'll end up being a,
what about, the other softball field? You didn't update on that one.
I see.
Technically, it's still not within their agreement until we get it done.
Okay.
but there is block. There are rows of block growing on the dugouts.
Have been diligently working in.
Yeah, dugout one dugout is, the block is complete, the other dugout, block is gonna be started tomorrow, whatever. We have some work to do with the foul poles yet, you know, squaring the field. They did play on it the other night.
Yep.
Last week. It was actually, they said it was good.
Did we get those trees trimmed, Brett?
Down in that area?
Yeah. On the,
Yep. all
yeah,
that
the stuff that was overhanging the fence?
Everything that was kind
Pretty
of
much the same
overhanging,
time.
that's all, yeah, that's all taken back there. Did you guys ever try to scoreboard now? I don't know, anybody's tried to scoreboard yet?
No.
It's kind of like one of those things that's been in place for 3 years.
Right.
We've never turned it on. So, you know, we gotta make sure that works, everything, but it's going well.
I think it was turned on when they installed it, but I wasn't there.
I'm sure.
So,
There's some fencing stuff that I think we should still be responsible. Follow poles, you know, getting that all squared away, and then once it's squared away, yeah.
well, like we talked about, then it's just, people need to get on it.
Yeah. The field
People
needs
need to get on it, they need to play on it, and then, you know, groups will start
It's
taking
difficult.
care of it.
It's difficult because it's not as nice of a field as the other three, but the other three have been in existence for 20-plus years.
Right,
And
right.
we're constantly seeing people in maintenance, where this lower field has not seen that. But the more they use the infield, the better the infield's even getting.
Yep.
I mean, it's starting to show, so it's all good.
What we talked about early on was once the field was complete and playable, we would discuss renewing the next contract with the Diamonds, including that and spending a little maintenance on that.
Yeah, nice, very nice presentation, Tony. Appreciate what the time and effort you put on it. They are contractually in compliance with everything with the city right now?
I believe so.
Okay. All the stipulations in the contract being met?
This was one of the bigger ones, is showing the financials and where they're
Yep.
spending their money and where the revenue's coming from. I think that was the biggest thing from before, was having that information, so we knew that what was going back to that art field.
So just as a reminder for me and the rest of the people watching, basically, we hand the fields over to the Diamonds at a certain point when they're, like the lower field, when it's field like it's completed, and then you guys take the maintenance and care of that over pretty much, and that's where the advertising dollars are going, and some of the other things. Yep. I understand so there's some capital expenses that the city can still be approached for, and, you know, be happy to look
Yeah,
at.
we have those conversations.
Yeah, exactly.
The other big thing that's, you may not, it wasn't on there, I don't think, the netting is a huge conversation that's kind of taking place. The netting above the concession stand between the two fields, it works, but I think there has to be a better plan, right? You know, the city has to go up there with a boom truck, and it just gets destroyed over the winters. Something has to change with that, and also conversation with the golf course. And netting, we haven't seen the number of golf balls on the big field this year. It's gotten better, you know, but I think we still gotta do something there.
I agree, and we were, at some point, we were gonna try to sit down with a few of us and try to figure out that system up on top with the netting, because like you said, it's in pretty rough shape.
What would you do if you didn't have the netting in there?
And we would still probably try to do a netting, but a retractable of some sort. So that basically they can go up there if it has electrical winch in it, that the cable could be lowered, it could be raised, if all the maintenance could be done by that group. They
Oh,
wouldn't
okay.
need to city boom trucks. or
It just
whatever.
gets destroyed in the winter
Winter,
time.
it does. Well, we
By
used to
the-
take it down every winter.
We did,
When
and-
Tim worked there.
Yeah, when you go to put it up, and in conversations with Tim and all of them, it is an absolute nightmare for that thing back up. It's just a
We still
giant
take
mess.
those down, it's just not that.
So just trying to make it more efficient, right? Better use, right? If it's vertical, it's gonna see a lot less wear than being laying flat like it is.
Well, and staying out for, if it is out
Yeah.
for the winter, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a couple things I'd like to say in support of the group and just the sports and the athletes being played up there. Number one, I believe that the high school girls softball team went and helped with a lot of the, after the fact, after all those trees were cut down. And it was, sticks and everything everywhere. I believe they had a little rake-a-thon out there. So the kids are putting in some sweat equity, the city
Yep.
probably did all the heavy lifting, but then, to clean it up for the fans and everyone that were still coming. And the second thing, I've got 3 boys in these leagues. I see the condition of our facilities, and I see the conditions of other facilities. Just 2 days ago, we probably lost an athlete to a possible leg fracture of some point because of the lip coming out of the dugout and onto the field, the concrete lip of walking out of the dugout and on. It's all just a big hole.
In
Kid
another area, not here.
Jumped, flip, boom, tweak something, injured, and I was there the next day with a different group, with a different kid of mine, and I'm just looking at it. I'm like, you don't see that stuff at our field. Yeah, we're not perfect, and there's always little things that you're going to see, but you hate to see a kid because of a facility. Kids are going to get hurt. I get it. I just want to say our stuff is as top notch as you're going to find around.
We're in good shape.
And it looks good, like you say, we all talk about it. You ride by there and you got so much going on out there and so many people. And our community really enjoys it. And through the years, I was part of it many years ago, we've always been really lucky because it seems like when our kids are there, you do get some people without kids, but people are willing to pitch in and they want to keep that facility looking nice, and we've been very fortunate for that too.
Yeah, thank you to all you guys, all the volunteers out there and everybody out.
As
helps
long
you out.
as we have people that care, they're gonna look pretty good, right? It's when things start fracturing,
Yep.
and I don't see that happening here. It's pretty embedded in the community.
I can't stress enough how important that relationship is. If you think about the amount of money they're putting back to those fields and the personnel that they have doing that, without that, you would be these other fields.
Right.
And how important this is for that.
I would like to know one thing, in a game earlier this year, because my son's on the team, Westwood is in what, their 3rd year? Westwood is in their 3rd year or 2nd year?
I think it's their 3rd.
So
They don't have a field.
their city will not give them a field. They do not supply anything for them. When they came to Norway, it was pretty unfortunate weather, but they wanted to come anyway because they don't have a field to play in. Their municipality does not give them a field, does not give them a spot, so that's another really great thing that the city does for the high school, for all the leagues.
For the little
It's-
leagues, yeah.
It's a good relationship.
I hope we're all benefiting, the
Yeah.
school, the city,
The
the
leagues.
teams the leagues are benefiting from what we have, so. Yeah, it's a good relationship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
We'll move on to mayor council comments. Brett,
I have nothing here.
Jeff,
None, Madam Mayor.
Rico?
No comment.
I have done either. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion we adjourn.
Mr. Whittle?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. McKee?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.